Yes, I completely agree that the compassion inventory is such a wonderful tool for us to be able to use to check in. It's ironic as I was even myself going through and looking at all of the different elements and recognizing that how I would score myself would also change moment by moment. And so that's something that I also put out there to everyone who watches this and to you as well, is thinking about what would it look like to use it on a continuous basis to really assess in the moment or month by month, or are there certain times of year even that we find ourselves in a greater place of decreased compassion satisfaction or increased burnout. One of the things that you noted was hoping that your secondary stress score was lower than it actually was. I shared that thought in a few areas and was right on the cusp, and asked myself, of course, how could I also make sure that that stays within a healthy range? There were a couple things that you noted that I thought were really valuable, that you recognized countertransference, where you were having a response that may not have just been related to the family that you were working with, but also related to some of the past history that you have, and that you immediately took that next step and started setting boundaries and coming to terms with when those boundaries aren't respected. In our reading, that was one of the areas that really stood out to me as well, is the focus on making sure that when we notice ourselves moving from burnout into fatigue or into vicarious traumatization, that we take steps to accurately respond to what we're feeling. And it sounds like that's something that you have a good handle on. I am curious to know what helps you stay or maintain that sense. You talked about of having a really strong sense of when you needed a break, even if it came before the mandatory breaks that you have planned for yourself, which I think can be very valuable, is also having something to look forward to and knowing that your body and your mind is going to get some form of rest at a certain time. And then with us coming off of creating self-care plans, if you're comfortable sharing, I was also curious to know what you have added or done to increase your self-care on both a micro and a macro level. So a lot of times when we're working through self-care, it can be on an individual basis, and also looking at, is there value or have you found any value, and what has that looked like in having some type of collaboration? Are there other people or things in your life that you add to that? And brings me to the last point, which absolutely talks about faith being such a great resource and a place of anchor, and being able to look at the model that God showed us himself in terms of, as close as he was to the disciples and the people around him, we even see that he modeled for us that time for rest taking and stealing away. Again, thank you for your insights, and I look forward to hearing your response.